So I didn't meant to do that, but anyways, let's continue. So limitations. In the limitations, we mostly what we do is try to write things that are not possible because either I don't have the information, I'm not really working in there, some of the data is missing, or there's not sufficient data. So here, like for example, a or some errors. Also, there can be errors in the data. Hint, hint. There might be errors. Hint, hint. Hopefully you got it. And then it says, for example, and this is an example of a limitation. Currently isn't on the expenditure of marketing for each of the states. So currently it's only possible to assume the sales are low due to their poor service. So maybe also has to do with the marketing, but I don't have that information. So unless I have that information, I could provide a much better strategy. So within that, you have to look into the whole data set. When you're looking for something, it's like, I wish I could know who is the company that is delivering and how are they performing in other states or other companies. So is it me? Is me? So I don't have that information. That's a limitation. If you have some information that you think it could be valuable to be in there, but you don't have it, that's a limitation. And finally, your section number 7. Section number 7, appendixes and tables. So as I explained you on your unit 8, sometimes, for example, this data, this table here matches well. That's all right. It fits nicely, that's all right. But what happens when I have a very, very, very long table? So it doesn't fit. So what I have to do is just put it on the appendixes on the references, right? Try to minimize it, try to make it small, and you say, okay, so here, if you want to see, for example, here I summarized who were the worst performers. So I could also put here, so for example, overall these states have 2 or more standard deviations. So here, for example, for looking at the complete details of the performance of the other states, refer to appendix 1, okay, or 1.1. Okay, so then in my appendix, what I'm gonna do is in the appendix number 1.1, then I'm gonna put the table with all the states' performance, right? So that disrupts the flow inside the project. Just throw it on the appendix or tables that, like I said, they are useful, but they disrupt the flow of the whole thing. Okay, very good. So in this one, yeah, so we have that one. Okay, good. So here, for example, so once, I mean, like I said, you have your project. Okay, so you have your Excel. So I'm going to show you one example. Here, see, for example, once you have cleared all your data, your table should be, like I said here, not data or raw data, depends on how you want to rename it. Then you will have in this one already, it's already clean and clear. Already it follows all the same format, also by length, all same. When it's decimal, etc., etc. And so you have it. Okay. So very good. In this case, for example, this student, they let's look at a little bit in general and how she did it. So for example, she has category summary. She decided to do by category, segment of category. You realize here starts to follow the same format of the graphs. She used another pivot table in here. He also has, like, for example, some sorting, right? Here one I can do this one, and then I can also sort it like this one, or filter this one. For example, there's this pivot tables have this function also, like for example this kind of filters. Also I can do filter by top 10, or I can also do value filters. So in this one I can do that. See, this is already filtered, no? So I can do top 10 or top 3. Let's do top 3, and then that's it. Top 3, that's all, and then changes everything. So in this case, like I said, the student has a lot of difference. They also put, for example, the exponential growth of things, if there's any exponential, right? If you don't know how to do exponential, you can ask me. The same thing, some other things. Okay, there's some indications. There's, for example, here she's using the average, she's using extremes, median, quartiles, standard deviations, etc. Looking, this even has slicers. Slicers are very useful, but you don't know how to use slicers yet. I didn't teach you how to use slicers because it's much complex, and I don't want you to get more confused. You're already too confused to steal. This one, for example, she's using plot boxes for that. So in this case, she wants to know the profit, right? Okay. So anyways, that is, for example, the case of one student. The project I don't think is that great, but at least it's in order. So in this case, for example, we have the statistics report, then has a summary, data collection. This is previous years, so it's not the same. So I cannot tell you that it's gonna be look the same. But here, for example, the analysis, she analyzed one thing in the pivot table 1, and this pivot table 1, she has some conclusions and so on, right? She does that's it. She also has some appendixes, right? Very small ones, with limitations and recommendations, conclusion. So each one of you has a different way of doing it, but in the end, what I expect is a good quality out of it. So how can you achieve good quality? By doing drafts, submit them, I give you feedback. That's the way you're gonna do it. If you think that you're gonna achieve a good project mark just by submitting and see how, that doesn't work very well. I believe that sending a project without feedback, it's not learning, because after you get your grade, you don't get the feedback. So it's better to get feedback in advance so you can improve your grade. You can send it to me and say, ask me, professor, in which grade I'm now. If I write the project in this way, what grade could I possibly achieve? And I can tell you, well, you're right now, your assignment is looking more like a D, looking more like an E, like an F. So, or it's looking like a B, but you can push it to an A if you do this and this and this and this and that. So make sure you do that. Okay, thank you so much. If you have any questions, do let me know. If you have questions in terms of the format or so, ask me, but in advance. I don't like things last minute. I hate them with my whole heart. So make sure you ask me way in advance. Everything that you ask me 2 days before, I'm completely gonna ignore you. Okay, not because you don't deserve it, because you left things for last minute. Then there's no possible way that you can change things. The same thing for sending me drafts last minute. Professor, we're very nervous because submission is in 2 days, so can you check my assignment? No. Check it 1 week in advance, yes, because if I tell you so many changes, you have time to do them, rather than working around the clock, okay? Organize yourselves and be responsible. So anyways, I expect a lot of you. Your midterms grades were just average. They are not that great, so this is your opportunity to push your final grade to where you want. So make sure that happens. This is within your control, not mine. Okay, you know where you push it, you know how much quality you want. This relies on you. Thank you so much.